My life be like, yeah. My life be like, yeah. My life be like, yeah. My life be like times like these that make me say, Lord, if you see me, please come my way. Like leaving breadcrumbs all when I stray. But I don't sacrifice in the price you pay. Living like a fingertip. Sometimes I fall, I slip. More feelings I be more like you. Not to put the fire with the things I do. I'm on an island by my lonesome stranded. Low key and staying candid. Reflect on all the things.
Hi, I'm Pastor Jamie with your thought for the day. One of my favorite Bible characters in all the Bible is Daniel. Daniel has been kind of a Bible hero of mine since I was a young man. And I looked at all of the different stories that were told about Daniel and the things that he did, and it just inspired me. You see, Daniel, when he was a young man, was taken away from his home, away from his family. His family never saw him again for the rest of his whole life. And imagine if someone took you away from your family. How would that make you feel about God? Would you trust God? Would you be able to even pray to God anymore? It would feel like you've been almost disowned by God. But Daniel stayed firm in his faith in God. And he kept following the God that had been taught about to him since he was a young man. Now, when he got to Babylon, the first thing that people wanted to do was to give him all this terrible food that God had said not to eat. God had given them instructions saying, hey, look, you shouldn't be eating pigs because it's terrible. And you shouldn't be drinking wine because wine does crazy stuff to your mind. And this is some of the first things that they gave Daniel when he went to Babylon. And he's faced with a choice. Do I sin against God or do I do the right thing? And so he talked to the head baker guy, and he's like, hey, can you give me something else to eat? Can I have healthy food as opposed to this terrible stuff you're giving me? And the guy says, listen, you're going to be so much worse off than the rest of the guys, you're not going to be able to keep up. And they were like, try us out. Give us just a little bit of time to try and eat the good stuff. And so they tried it out, and God blessed them, and they came out like 10 times smarter than the rest of the guys. And it was a big choice they had to make. It would have been very easy just to say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to do this. I'm going to do the easy thing. I'm not going to stand up for what is right. But he did the exact thing that he should have done, and he stood up for God. How did he get this strength? How did he get the power to do this? God gave it to him. Later on in his life, Daniel was given one of the hardest things to do. You see, some people that he worked with were jealous of his job. He was kind of above them, and they didn't like it that he was above them. And so Daniel was kind of put in a trap. These guys laid a trap and went to the king and said, King, you're the greatest. We love you. I think we should have a holiday just for you. A holiday that nobody can worship anyone except for you for this period of time. And the king's like, hey, that's a pretty good idea. I like that. I am pretty good, aren't I? And so he signs the decree. Well, these guys knew that Daniel prayed to his God 3 times a day. Morning, noon, and night. He would get in, open the door, face Jerusalem, and connect with his God. Pray to his God. And these guys knew that. And they knew that if he kept on doing this, he would be breaking the law. And the penalty was being thrown to a bunch of hungry lions. Being torn apart. Can you imagine that? How painful that would be? I mean, how scary that would be to face lions? And so what happens is the test is there. The guys are waiting to see if Daniel's going to open his door and talk to God. And just as he has always done, he opens the door, even though he knows the trap is set. And he talks to his God. He connects with his God all 3 times during that day. He knows what the consequence is, but he's willing to do whatever to follow his God all the way. Now, I look and I say to myself, boy, what would I have done in that situation? Facing a bunch of hungry lions? How could I have done this? How did Daniel do this? How did he stand strong for God? And it's hard to think how he did this. But Daniel had the strength and God gave him the strength. How did he have this? Daniel connected with God 3 times a day. He went, opened his heart to God and said, God, use me. Daniel didn't go a whole 5 hours without talking to his God. Imagine if that was like that in our lives. Imagine if we didn't go 5 hours without talking to God. Imagine how close our relationship would be with God. Imagine what kind of connection we would have with Him. What if you connected with God 3 times a day? What if you didn't go 5 hours without talking to God? What would your relationship be like with God? I challenge you right now to go and to talk to your God 3 times a day. Get connected with Him, and He will give you the strength to overcome temptations just like He did for Daniel. God will give you the strength if you connect with Him. That was His source of power, and you can have that same source of power if you connect with God that way. I'm Jamie Houghton, and this has been Your Thought of the Day.